So we made a video about this lens 6 months ago, right after I bought this lens. I have learned a lot has changed, and I'm just gonna talk to you about it and give you an update. Hey there, I'm Katelyn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a place where we like to empower photographers to build both profitable and purposeful businesses while also letting you in the behind the scenes of our everyday life. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm talking about my new favorite lens. It's actually been my favorite lens now for half a year. This is not even my lens because my lens, this is Michael's lens. So we now own two of them. That's how much we love this thing. Mine is in the car with him with the kids, if that tells you anything. This lens has really changed so much about photography for us. So I'm going to break down some things that I wanted to make sure that I was sharing. So one question we keep getting is, how much am I actually using this lens as a wedding photographer on wedding days? And the answer to that is, I'm using it seriously 80 to 90% of the time. I would say 80% of the time is being generous. It's more towards the 90% mark. I am using this from getting ready, ceremony, portraits, family formals, reception, party dancing, bridal party. I'm using it for everything except macro shots. And if we're photographing a wedding where there are restrictions on how close I can get during the ceremony, and I might need more like my 70 to 200 or the 135 2.0, I'm using it all the time. And it's baffling to me because I've never been able to photograph a wedding that way and get the look that I want. And now I can. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's a game changer for me. And being 13 years into my business, it's not that I was burned out and like, oh gosh, like I hate changing my lenses. I love changing my lenses. Like that's just me. Like I've been shooting that way for over a decade. It's nothing to me to change my lens. But man, it's great. If a huge group of family members starts to come up for a big group shot, I don't have to switch to 35. I just zoom my lens out. For those of you who've been using zoom lenses for years as wedding photographers, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb. But it's not, because shooting at 2.0 with a zoom lens has never been possible before now. And now I can get the look that I would get with a 35 1.4 with one lens, same look that I would get with a 50 millimeter 1.4, 1.2 with the same lens. Now, sure, I can't shoot at 1.6, but honestly, my average aperture range for all my weddings and all my shoots is about like 1.8 to 2.5. So I'm shooting at 2.0, which is really close to what my normal aperture was, or my average aperture was for all of my shooting. So I don't really miss being able to go down to 1.8 or 1.6. And if I do miss it, I just put my 85 on. Another question that we're getting a lot is like, but how do you deal with the weight? It is so heavy. And you're right, it is so heavy. There's a few reasons why I think that I have like grown accustomed to that. One, I was an 85 millimeter shooter all the time. And the 85 millimeter is it's the biggest prime, heaviest prime that I've ever had. And so I'm used to heavy. Now, this is a lot, like it puts a lot of pressure on these fingers when you're holding the camera like this. At the end of the wedding day, I've noticed that I am sore right here, and my shoulders sore. That's not ideal, right? I don't love that. But the ease of just walking out the door, this is my favorite thing. Sorry, I'm going on tangents. My favorite thing is Michael, I'll look at Michael, I'm like, hey, I'm running out for sunset portraits. And he's like, do you need your bag? I'm like, nope, I'm just going to take this. Why would I need my bag? Maybe I would need my 85 millimeter, but honestly, shooting at 2.0 at 70 millimeters with this is pretty darn close. I know that if I need a wide shot in a wheat field, I got it. I know that if I want a 50 millimeter standard portrait compression, I got it. I also know that if I really want that really creamy bokeh high compression background, I've got that. I've never had that in one lens, ever. And when you've shot a different way for 10 years, this just seems magical. And so I guess when it comes to like, how do I overcome the weight, the convenience and the magicalness of this lens, it overcompensates for the uncomfortable part of the heaviness, honestly. So it's not a problem to me. I don't want to give it up because it's too heavy, because I love the convenience of it. Another question that we're getting is this making me kind of lazy with my composition? Like, how does it compare to shooting with those 3 primes? This is a great question. And if you don't get anything else from this whole episode, understand this. I think that I'm using this lens in the most powerful way because I photographed weddings for 10 years with 3 key primes. Those 3 key primes have trained my eye to be able to see what focal length I need to get the look that I want. That type of knowledge and knowing that there's a key difference in the way that final image is going to turn out, that came from 10 years of shooting with primes. And it's not impossible to start shooting with this lens without the prime experience to be able to recognize those different needs. But I just know for me, my past experience with primes is making me shoot this almost as if I am shooting with a prime. Ty and I were just talking, it really is kind of the best of both worlds. So when you're shooting with 3 key primes, right, you're getting that compression, that crispness, that sharpness, that ability to shoot wider apertures, and you're sacrificing, it's just not convenient, right? I found a way to make it convenient. Like I never thought it slowed me down ever. But with a zoom, you're getting convenience, but you're not getting that wider aperture. You're not getting that high compression. You're not getting that bright, crisp image. So I've never been willing to sacrifice those key things just for convenience. I've always chosen primes for those reasons, but now I'm getting the bright images, the crisp images, I'm getting the speed of shoot, like it's a fast lens, and I'm getting bright, light, and airy images that I love at an aperture that I would choose normally, but I'm getting zoom capabilities as well. So it really is the best of both worlds. It's just expensive and it's heavy. But if you can learn to adjust your expectation of like, I'm just shooting with a heavy lens, but man, it's so convenient. It's so nice to just walk around and just know, like if a group of 15 people at a reception want a picture, but I've been photographing everyone on the dance floor with a 35 millimeter and I just need a little extra width, like I have a little extra width. If I am photographing people on the dance floor and all of a sudden the party dancing turns to a slow dance and I would naturally run to my bag and go from a 35 to a 50, well, I don't go to my bag anymore. I just back up a little ways off the dance floor and I start shooting at a 50 millimeter range because it's slowing down and I can focus quickly enough. So I'm just thrilled with it. I'm thrilled with it. And I know, and here's the thing, I don't get paid by Canon to say any of this. Canon, I have no connection with Canon. I just really love this lens and I'm thrilled with it because it has brought a new sense of excitement to shooting for me. And it's simplified shooting for me. People on a budget are not gonna like this, but if you own an R5 or an R6, in my opinion,
Or EOS R.
or yeah, EOS R, any mirrorless camera, I think you should own this lens. I feel bad saying that. I'm the prime lens girl. I'm not a zoom lens girl. Oh gosh. But I love it. I just love it. This is embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying this. We didn't even take my 50 millimeter to the last wedding.
Why would you?
Why would I take it? To shoot 50 millimeters at 1.6 versus 2.0, it's like, how often am I really going to need that? I never shot really below 1.6. Some people shoot at 1.4 all the time. And sure, you would miss 1.4, but I didn't shoot at 1.4 all the time. I shot like 1.8 to 2.5 all the time. So yeah, I miss 1.8 sometimes. I'll use my 85 for that, but we didn't even take it to a wedding. Crazy. So I actually photographed a full wedding day just with this lens. And then I used the macro lens, not the RF, but like the older EF 100 millimeter macro for the ring shots because I had to, but basically photographed a whole wedding with just this lens. And it was kind of a challenge to myself. Like, can I do it? And I did it easily. I did it. It's actually going to be on KG All Access this month. So if you'd like to watch me photograph that entire wedding with this lens, you could actually watch it for free. And yeah, so you'd have access for 5 days. You'd actually have access to everything, the entire vault of all the weddings that I've photographed the past like 3 years, you could have access to for 5 days for free. So try it out. The link is below. But yeah, that episode comes out this month. It was awesome. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I always put my settings on the screen, like this lens I use with these settings. And Michael's loving it because he types in those settings. He's like, it's all the same lens. This is awesome. So you can watch me shoot beginning to end and you can see what it's like to use this lens to capture a variety of different elements of a wedding day. So I hope this was helpful. This is just my honest feedback about this lens. Again, I'm not sponsored by Canon. I'm not that legit, but it doesn't matter. Like I'd rather almost not be sponsored and be able to tell you an honest opinion of this lens. I love this lens and it has wowed me 100 times more than even the other RF lenses that we have purchased in the past year. And I highly, highly recommend for those of you who have gone mirrorless, who are shooting Canon, it has been a game changer for me. So if you enjoyed this video, if you want to hear more about the RF 100 millimeter macro lens that we have been testing out, I'm going to share about that in the future coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe so you don't miss a video in the future, and I will see you next week.
Bye!
Bye!